Alright guys, so little update. This thing has been a little bit of a disaster, but we made a comeback. So I actually had to get, let's see, it was this one right here, was like completely stripped out. Let me actually, but it was just completely rounded out. And yeah, it was awful trying to get it out, but thankfully I did finally get it out.
Searching for a reason, came out looking to throw me around, but I'll be holding on forever. You won't bring me
Alright guys, so that was a decent amount of work for sure. Sorry about the fire truck going by, but as you can see, we are now in the valve train area, and yeah, it definitely was a huge setback having that bolt strip out, which that was the one right on this hole there. But so here's our old actual valve cover gasket, and yeah, it's I would say probably never been replaced before. It's extremely brittle. One thing I do want to point out is you guys probably noticed that right there. So there is two spots that we're going to need to put some RTV on, like silicone RTV, right here. They actually call it Toyota camshaft. I think it's like Toyota camshaft packing seal or something like that. But basically black RTV is pretty much the same stuff, just like silicone RTV, high temp stuff. Because there's cracks where the timing cover is. So just make sure that you replace that with new silicone or else you're going to have leaks. But go ahead and go over the valve cover real quick. So here's where that spark plug gasket goes, and you can see this old one. I want to touch it real quick for you guys. It's like paper or like cardboard now. Like, it's pretty solid and it just tears apart. So that's another reason why I don't believe this has ever been replaced, because like I said, it has about 140K on it. And if I had to guess, I mean, I would say this usually should probably be, you probably start to get leaks around, I don't know, I'd say between 120 and like 170 on a lot of vehicles. So, you know, right now seems like about the right time that it, you know, is starting to go. But inside the cover's pretty clean. I go ahead and flip it over. We are going to clean all of this off really good as well, probably with like degreaser and a hose or something. But as you can see, all these bolt holes need to come out. So I go ahead and set the light up. Basically, all the pairs of two need to come out, and then on the sides you have a bunch need to come out as well. So this is towards the back of the firewall. You have three back here. They're really not that hard to get to. I mean, you will probably need like wobble sockets, or just even, you won't, but it's just gonna be hard to use an impact. You might need to use a ratchet instead, but the rest of them you can pretty much use an impact on. And there's two up front as well, and the ones along the sides. These guys are here to stay on. You know, try to be careful not to break these off if you can, because you know we don't need any more vehicles that are missing all of the cable tie downs and everything. But yeah, let's go ahead and do some cleaning and get the new gaskets on. Alright guys, so valve cover, although it's old, it's nice and clean now. So there's still some leftover oil residue on the inside here, but just make sure that you blow everything out good, especially if you do clean the inside well. Like I said, mine was pretty clean, so I made sure I just kept all this covered while I washed the other side. Always a good idea too to blow everything out with air when you're done. You know, brake parts cleaner, that stuff works really well. But new gaskets go on just like this. You know, it's pretty straightforward. It can't really go on any other way, so you shouldn't really be able to mess this up unless you somehow manage to do them backwards. But like I said, this part should be pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully you can look at it and mimic this. So let's go ahead and go back over to the truck itself. Set this down carefully. All right, so over on the engine side of things, we got everything cleaned off really well. So just to show you guys one more time so that no one forgets this, it's very important that you put a little bit of, like I said, like RTV, but this little crack right here and the same exact opposing one right there. You just want to put a little dab of it just so it gets down in that timing cover crack. So once you do that, it's just literally reverse installation. Just make sure that your gaskets are on nice and good, and get everything back on there. Obviously clean off the surface pretty decent, you know, with like a Scotch-Brite. And then after you get everything back on, that's a good time to kind of, you know, clean the rest of your engine stuff. But we're probably gonna pretty much call it quits here for tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and stick the cover back on, just so that nothing falls in here over the night, because, you know, there is crap up here and you know, some other stuff. I don't want any bugs or anything flying in there. So we're gonna set the cover back on, probably put a couple bolts just to you know, have it somewhat held down. But I'm gonna replace probably most, if not all of these, probably with some new stainless steel or grade 8 bolts, just because, like I said, I'm not a fan. That one head, that would be stupid to put that back on, because that was not fun to get off, and we need to properly torque this valve cover down when we're done. So we're gonna pick up some new ones probably from Lowe's tomorrow. Hopefully they have them.